Okay, if nobody asks, I'll go first.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so I want to offer a new service. Okay, I'm a coach, and I've been doing personal branding, and I want to start offering ethical copywriting. How would you start promoting that? Would you write? I typically create content for Facebook, for LinkedIn, YouTube videos. Would you create a series of posts on that new topic to introduce people to that new service? How would you bring that idea to my audience?
Okay, so you've got this idea, this theme of ethical copywriting. How do you get clients? Who do you want to work with around this? Who would be your ideal clients?
Mostly healers, holistic practitioners, coaches with, sensitive, that kind of introverts could also be, but mostly people who are based, value-based, purposeful, oriented healers and health educators.
Yeah, got it. Okay. So there's a few things here. One that's really important is, and for everyone, it's so important to keep our eyes on the prize. What is it that we want? Paying clients. We want, so the idea of putting out content, if that will help you get ideal clients, amazing. That's great. But it may not. Many people have spent many years putting out lots of great content and not getting clients. So if you had to choose between the two, you get clients, but you have no social media presence, or you have a social media presence with no clients, hopefully it's very clear which one to choose. This morning, I just talked with Rebecca Van Dam. If any of you are needing help with your social media, getting a real system so you can be consistent at it in a really thoughtful way, recommend her a lot. Rebecca Van Dam, DAMM.com. But she does, it's so funny, she helps people with their social media, but she doesn't have an incredibly robust social media presence herself. Yeah, she's just booked. She just has clients. So that's just an important thing to remember. That's what we're going for. And then I recommend always picking the most, the route there that will be the most direct, but also the most enjoyable for you. So if you love to write and you want to write anyways, I wrote all those ebooks. A lot of them first as blogs because I wanted to write them. I had to write them. That was partly for me. There was nothing strategic about it. I just felt compelled to clarify my own thinking about it. And so I was writing it. So sometimes we do these things, it doesn't get us clients right away, or it peripherally probably does. Almost certainly it's helpful, and especially in the long term. So, okay, so that's one question to be asking, is just, what's the approach that's most likely to actually get me clients? But then within that, there's a question of the long game and the short game. So the long game is, yeah, you have a presence, you put out a lot of content, and this stuff does build up, and especially if you link things properly. So you don't just put an article on a website with no link back to your website. And when they go to your website, you have your business model thought out. So, hey, here's some more free stuff, or here's the next step. And once you try that stuff, here's the next step. So there's an architecture of a business model. But, all things being equal, if you've got a pretty clear niche, you have a well thought out and constructed business model, and then you're putting out content, yes, long-term, that will help. That will probably work. But that's the long game, and it's slow. The short game is you just find the people who you think might be clients and you approach them directly. Hey, I could help you. I notice you're struggling with this, kind of help. Yeah, so that's, that direct approach is probably the fastest. And it's interesting, in the membership, there's a fellow, Russell Scott, and he was trying to fill up an event, a retreat he had. And this was something I'd said to him years ago. And he said he'd gotten 12 people signed up because he just emailed people personally. He just sat down and kind of meditated on his client list. Like, who do I know who might really like this? Who might enjoy this? And he just sent them a personal note saying, hey, I've got this thing coming up. I was sitting down thinking about who might be a fit for it. And your face came to mind. And I don't know if this would be a good match for you, but etc. So that's the fast approach. It's just really directly going to people. and asking them. The next level out from that is this hub marketing thing where you think, okay, I want to reach healers who is already connected to them. And so instead of just writing for medium.com or, you know, putting it out on your blog or Huffington Post, you think, okay, who's already connected to these healers? And then is there a way they could introduce me? And there's a limited number of ways, but, you know, some of them are, they could interview you for their people. They could host you for a presentation to their people. They could share an article or blog post that you've written or a video you did with their people. They could just send out an email endorsing you to their people, you know, or some combination thereof. But that's going to be the next most direct. I mean, so of course the most direct is you meet somebody in person, you've already got it. There's a good vibe. They're clearly right in the bullseye of your target market. And you say, hey, could you use some help? And they say yes. I mean, that's a dream. And getting there is not easy, because out of 100 people you meet, most of them won't be your ideal client. Now you can refine, you can say, okay, wait, I'm going to really pick the events with the best people. But so it's fastest when it happens. You meet somebody or you already know them. I suppose that's the fastest, is you already know them. You've got a relationship with them. You reach out, you say, I've got this thing. They already trust you. That's going to be the quickest. But then the next one will be the hubs thing. How do you connect with the people who are connected with them? And then figure out some sort of approach. And so the content piece is, it's good. It's helpful in the background, but it's not going to immediately get you clients. That's not an automatic right away. That's the long game. It's a foundational piece to have, especially if you're excited to do it. So does that help? Is that useful?
Yeah, absolutely. Because my default, it's always go and create content. I create content all the time. And it's true that many times I've just created content and nothing happens. I don't get clients. So the hub idea, which I'm working with through your book right now, feels really, it makes sense. I've just started to interview people also just to grow connections and get to know other professionals, you know. So maybe I could do something like that and approach hub centers and people perhaps in that way, try to connect with them that way, to offer something and offer these and see if there is a match. So thank you, that makes sense.
Yeah, you're welcome. By the way, your mic is rustling on your...
Oh, sorry. Sorry for that. Thank you, Tad. We appreciate it.
So yes, so that is the tendency. And it's very familiar to me, this, I just want to create more free content. That's an instinct. And I would suggest it's just worth interrogating a bit where it's coming from. Is this coming from, I just love to create free content and I don't need the money and I'm just happy to do it? Or is it a kind of over-giving? Is it also a way of hiding? Isn't that strange? Creating content and putting it out there can be a way of hiding and not actually engaging in a conversation around sales and marketing or making money. I remember when Mark Silver came over to my house years ago and he said, I was telling him about this blog post I'm going to write, this blog post. And he said, Dad, it's okay to make money. You can write an ebook and charge for it. Ah, shit, that's true. But that was the tendency for me, was to just want to create more free stuff. And creating more free stuff will not necessarily get you clients. That is not built into the thing. Lots of people go broke just creating free content. If the free content helps you clarify your thinking, that's good. I mean, that's a long, long game. Yeah, because it'll just make you more lucid generally. So that's good. If you post it in the right places, you know, more likely it'll get you clients. If the free content is linked to a next step, that's also very low risk for people. So, you know, something like this, an office hours like this, a free DIY course, some videos, an assessment, etc., that will help, etc. But yes, if you already know people, the one-on-one outreach will do so much better. If you already know hubs, the one-on-one outreach to the hubs, that's really good too. If you don't know hubs, a cold approach to hubs, That's all right too. But let's keep our eye on the prize. The goal is not just how do I create more free content. The goal is how do I get clients, not just any clients, but the kind of clients that would be a real good fit for me. That's the goal. Yeah. Okay. Charlo, thank you for the question. Yeah. And yeah, Kirsten was commenting, she said, this is what many people teach. You have to put content out and free stuff. And if not, you will not get clients. It's not true. It's not true. You can have no website, no social media presence, and be rich and totally sold out in your business. And in fact, you may want to check out, if you go to YouTube, just search Tad Hargrave, Life and Business Without Social Media. And it's an interview that I did, or I hosted Bradley Morris basically to present on this. Because years ago, he decided he was done with social media, which is of course one of the major places people put out their content. Facebook, Instagram, etc. He just left it all. He hasn't been on it for years. And he goes over, I think, 5 different ways you can get clients and build your business and make money that have nothing to do with social media, don't require social media. So it's not needed. Not only do you not need to put out content, you don't even need the infrastructure to do that. There are plenty of people genuinely who are, and you've probably seen some of these ads on Instagram or Facebook where people say, hi, you don't know me, but you probably have seen my ads before. I've done ads for this person, this person, this person, this person. So what that means is they were the hidden gem. They were working behind the scenes. And this is a classic thing that will happen. People are the behind the scenes person for somebody else, and finally they come out to teach their own workshops. And, but they did it for years, fine. They were making a great living and nobody knew who they were. You don't even need anyone to know who you are. It's amazing how well you can do with no public persona, because why? Because you just get a very clear niche, you help those people get results, and then they refer you to their colleagues. That's how this works. I mean, whenever people come to me and they say, oh, I'm thinking about creating a membership site, I say, you should talk to Bradley Morris. I just refer out. Even one of my assistants, Belle, she's getting really handy with helping people with Mighty Network. So when people are, oh, I need help, I refer her. She doesn't have a business card. She doesn't have, word of mouth is how marketing actually works. That's the reality of it. We can try to mess with that, but fundamentally, ads to a cold audience will never work as well. And ads from us to a cold audience will never work as well as warm word of mouth from people to their own friends that we're not even involved in. That will always be the strongest. So, yeah, but that doesn't require content out there. It doesn't require social media or a website. Would I suggest having them? Yes. Don't make life harder. Yeah, have a website, have social media. It's helpful but why? It's helpful because it lets people check you out at a distance. It's important for the safety element. It's a way of building trust where they can just, as a lot of you probably have done with me, as I've done with other people, watch the videos, read the blog posts, check them out on social media, see how they are at a distance. And then when it feels safe enough, you get closer, or maybe you feel safe right away, but it's just not the right timing, but that keeps it top of mind. So it can be helpful for staying in touch. All those things, yeah. And it's utterly not required to get clients. 0% required to do any of that to get clients. You could just work with somebody, blow their mind with the results you get, and build it based on referrals, hubs, all behind the scenes, all privately, and do very well.